again, with COVID and this year being so self-reflecting, like I was just like, okay, like this isn't the year to really hold grudges. This isn't the year to like really like hold in all of that negativity, because you don't know how quick someone could be taken away from you, or when the last time you'll be able to speak to them, especially with how quick COVID has taken people. So, I mean, like I said, it was awkward. It was awkward. It's funny that we had the daddy issues conversation in maybe episode 2. It was just weird. It was one of those weird interactions where, you know, I was just like, yeah, Dad, of course I love you. Hey,
how long had it been since you've seen him, though? When was the last time you actually saw him, physically saw him?
Maybe it was a pop-up that he came to my house. Had to be at least 6 years ago.
Wow.
6 years ago. And I mean, this is probably sharing a lot, but the last time we talked was 2016, top of 2016. I had just got back from studying abroad. Again, probably saying too much. I'll figure this out later.
No such thing.
Yeah, no.
Not for you.
He called asking for money because he needed it at the time, and I didn't have it. And it was like a more so like, you know, he felt entitled to his daughters paying him back for child support that he had paid.
But also assumed that because you were studying abroad,
that I had the money, and I didn't. And so it was just an awkward. You know, it wasn't a hey, what are you doing? Like,
how are you?
It wasn't a how are you. It was a hey, I need something and you kind of owe me because I pay child support. And it was just really weird. But also, like, it's weird because another conversation we were having off air is that he never thought bartending was a real job. And so now that I'm a podcaster, it's weird because I do wonder now, like, what his thoughts are of me doing this. I mean, of course, I was an accountant prior. I went to school, got my degree, became a corporate worker. And then after a year, I'm a full-time podcaster. And he never thought bartending or bottle serving or anything hospitality was a real job. You know, Jamaican, like he does construction. He's always had multiple jobs. Like, and so, but he always felt like you had to get a paycheck. You had to, you know, be working towards a pension, a 401k, all of those things that, of course, you don't get with bartending.
Let me give you a little something.
Yes, talk to me, girl.
So a couple years ago, when I started therapy, I went to my therapist and, you know, telling him my relationship with my parents, They don't really get me career-wise. They just don't see it as you know, literally the same thing you're telling me. One tidbit that he gave me was he was like, well, you know, I've had other patients come in that are first generation American to West Indian parents. And a lot of the times, West Indian parents and African parents as well, unintentionally are envious of the freedom that you have in terms of career choices. Mm-hmm. And so they see that and they become a little bit resentful, but it's not intentional. So I would tell you just to not just see your dad, really look at who he is in the grand scheme as a person. You'll have a better understanding of why he is the way he is. And I mean, you don't have to forgive everything that he's done, but like you'll have a better that's what I had to do with my dad, my parents, like just really see their upbringing, you know, how hard they work, all these jobs.
Oh, yeah, and he worked hard. He a Jamaican. Right. And my mom, as a single parent, also had 3 jobs to provide for a household. So it was, I've grown up in that environment of working parents. And so a part of it is, I don't know how they feel about me. Like, this space was not anything that they would have thought I would grow up to be, you know?
It's not something for them to understand, because even with us navigating ourselves in these spaces of podcasting, this is still fairly new.
Especially as women.
For us.
Oh, listen, my mother told me that I was moving back to New York from LA for an internship. She was on the phone with my aunt, like, she moved back.
Wait, you heard her say this?
Yes. And then she doubled down. First of all, MK... This might be offensive.
Why you never brought her on to Love and Hip Hop? I would have loved to see her.
This might be offensive to some people, my family members included, but I always looked at my mother as like the biggest waste of white. Like, I would think about any reference that we could consider commercially about how white moms
Look
are,
at Liv's face,
and how loving and affectionate and adoring they are, and how supportive, and oh honey, you're gonna be great. My mother was none of those things. Like,
Whoa.
no. My mother was like, oh, does someone need a truth? Does someone need a reality check? Does someone need a chin check to the jaw? Here it is. That was my mother. So when
God damn.
when we were first,
Y'all ain't know we was this real, did you?
We're
talking about our parents up in here.
We were first conceptualizing, like that whole call your mother by her first. My mother rocked my jaw when I was like 17 years old because I was a jerk. You know what I'm saying? Like my mother, again, I missed this is my friend Karen. No. This is Miss So-and-so. You don't speak unless spoken to. You seen, you not heard, you do.
Well,
It was very...
Yeah.
Okay, culturally, that's not a white thing. For the record, a lot of my family, my white family, doesn't operate that way. They're just willy nilly with it all. Like the kids don't. There's no boundaries. Everybody just kind of runs amok. But either way,
Well, I'm glad you know your white side. They didn't care to know us because we were black.
I mean, I cared.
Oh yeah, there's layers here, and it's so crazy.
It was a default setting. Well, it was a default setting because most of my dad's family, we were the other family. So my dad's family didn't know who I was till I was 12. But that's, I said,
y'all layers.
It's a lot of shit going on. But I will say, that perspective and therapy as well has helped me look and view my mother more as a person now than just as my mother. Because viewing her as my mother, and then she asked me not too long ago, she was like, yo, did you feel loved as a kid? And I was like, yeah, I felt loved as a kid, but I didn't feel seen or understood. Like, I didn't feel like she ever really got me or understood me, but... Did I feel love? Sure. I trusted that she wasn't going to do no stupid shit and leave me somewhere unsafe. But did I feel like she was really looking at me like, yo, talk to me about how you feel about things. Tell me what your thoughts are.
I'm not going to lie. That's one of those things with what you were talking about earlier. As we get older, I don't think parents realize that we become adults. And as adults, we start to view people as people.
Right.
And I think that was the problem. I'm someone who doesn't justify someone's shitty behaviors because we're related through blood. Yeah. And so, unfortunately, you got to look at people as the fucked up people that they are outside of your brother, your cousin, your mother, your daddy. And it's crazy because I remember at times of my lowest, there were friends that were there well before blood and family. Mm-hmm. And so it's crazy that when you do grow up, you start to look at things from the past and the present just so much differently because you have a logic of reality.